Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to another bullish live stream. We are still in a bull market despite all the FUD and the fear and all the craziness happening out there. We're going to talk about the markets, news. We're going to go through some questions and answer some of your guys' questions, I should say, and look at charts for different coins and much more. See, we got Josh Clark in the chat here, Abid Khan as well. Thank you for joining. Anthony Amadeo, great to have you. Aloha. I'm assuming you are tuning in from Hawaii. Freddie says, good afternoon, guys. Oil Bitcoin to the moon. Good to have you. Mighty Miwok, if I'm saying that right. GM, good morning. Great to have you. Guys, on your way in, hit the thumbs up button, hit the heart button, hit the like button, wherever you're watching and listening, because we are streaming from multiple platforms. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, X, Twitch, Kick.com, Rumble, YouTube, of course, Facebook. We're everywhere blasting the news out there. We got PWND4 Bull. I apologize, I can't pronounce that, but hello from the Netherlands. Great to have you. Haravis from the Netherlands as well. Thank you for tuning in. Anthony says in CO, but from the islands. Awesome. Rafael from Argentina. Great to have you. Great to have you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Lots to cover. We'll give another minute or so for folks to join the stream here. Let me clear this stuff out the way. Tenjo from where? Kuala Lumpur. I'm not sure where that is. Where is that? Great to have you. Panda Bowl, because nobody likes bears. Cool. I agree with that. Great to have you guys. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button on your way in, guys. Deron352 from Florida. Great to have you. Looking good, doing good. Tony BCB is saying XRP run is over. Well, I disagree. I'm going to share the facts with you guys. No feelings, no emotions here. We're just going to go through the data. There's obviously a bullish scenario and a bearish scenario. So we want to look at which one has the higher probability of playing out. Oh, Tenjo says that's in Malaysia. Great to have you, man. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining the stream here. Lots to go through. Once again, hit the thumbs up button, hit the heart button, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't as yet. Okay, so Bitcoin obviously has been on the move over the past 24 to 36 hours, right? Some very positive signs, but as I've been telling you guys, or as I stated in my previous podcast episodes, we don't want to get too excited here because we need to see more confirmation. Folks, the point at which I'm going to get very excited is when we break the all-time high that Bitcoin set, which is about 127,000. And then I'm going to say, okay, all right, everything is back on track. But the good thing, we are seeing some positive signs. And there's signs that we've seen before, ahead of a major rally. So Bitcoin breaking through 115,000 yesterday. It had a strong weekly close. The bulls are back in control in the daily chart. You see the MACD has flipped green here, and the RSI shows we have room to run. So we're not in the overbought zone. We're right in the middle, right, of the overbought and oversold zone. So that's a very good sign. You can see I have the overlay of the global liquidity, the global M2 money chart, or the index, I should say, over Bitcoin here. You can see there's room to run here, right? So this indicator is one of the factors we're using. In addition, you can see Bitcoin's MVRV, as far as it overvalued or undervalued, as far as the traders and are they in profits and much more. It's right now at neutral. So signaling there's room to run here. We're nowhere overheated and we're coming out of that undervalued zone. If you see where my mouse cursor is and you see that line right there, this line that's running, so we got room to run here, and this move could take us to new all-time highs. Now, it's not going to happen tomorrow or next week. It's going to be a slow, steady grind up, right? Higher highs, higher lows. and you got to break through the resistance, of course. So that's why I said I'm not getting too excited or bullish unless we break out above the all-time high. That's where I'm gonna say, guys, let's get ready to party, because let's prepare to exit the market later, over the couple of months, because altcoins are going to follow. I'm not there yet, so please understand what I'm saying. And as far as altcoins, total 3, which we know altcoins follow Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin leads the market. That is also flipped bullish on the daily, and the RSI shows there's room to run here. So we can expect altcoins to start waking up. You can see a bit of an uptick here on the chart, but nothing to call home about yet. When we jump back to Bitcoin, the weekly chart, the bears are still in control. But what we are seeing is that the MACD is showing they're losing momentum. So we have those light red bars. When they're solid, it means, the respective bears or bulls are in control, right? This applies to both the green and the red. So they're losing momentum, which is a good sign. And we need the bulls to capture the weekly. So that's why I'm saying I'm not celebrating just yet, because we still got work to do here. When you zoom out on the higher time frame of the monthly chart, and this is very revealing, bulls are still in control. So this is a chart I've been sharing with you guys in my newsletter, on the podcast, and you can simply see here with pattern recognition, the red and the green. It shows the peaks of the market, the bull phase, and then the bears. We are still in that bull phase. Again, this is data. This is not emotions. This is not fairy tales. This is just the data. And you can study this yourself. You can go to TradingView and pull it up for different assets. So this is a very, very good sign. Now, what's interesting, October, with Bitcoin's recent rally, has turned green. It was red, right? And October was canceled. If you guys recall, it was October and we had that big pump at the beginning of October, and then a massive dump off the tariff news and some manipulation, massive whale shorts and so forth. But it has flipped green. Now, it's only up 1.24%, nothing to call home about, but still a good sign. And many of you know we're headed into the November-December period where it's very bullish. November has been a super strong month for both the crypto and stock market. Just look at what happened in Q4 of last year, right? October wasn't that great last year, but people forget. They completely forget. And I understand we all have our lives. I understand we all want higher prices, but you can't forget. You got to be a student of the history of the markets so you can recognize the patterns that have happened in the past and potentially can play out for the current cycle we're in. So things are setting up nicely here. Fingers crossed. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't say, hey, on November 20th, Bitcoin's going to be at 150K. I can't say that, but I can say the data as of today shows we have a bullish setup, and that we could see a massive rally into the end of the year for both crypto and stocks. And speaking of stocks, this is a very positive sign. It bodes well for crypto because it's all following global liquidity. Japan's Nikkei hits a new all-time high. Just recently, as I've been sharing with you all, the S&P 500 hit a new all-time high. So how could the bull market be over, right? If we have topped out, as some people are saying, why is the stock markets hitting new highs? Why has gold rolled over? Even the Russell is hitting new highs, by the way. But why has gold rolled over? I'm going to pull up my charts here from my newsletter. By the way, subscribe to the newsletter, guys. Gold has started correcting. And remember, all these assets are following global liquidity. We're in a macro bull market for all assets, the everything bubble, if you want to call it that. So Bitcoin and crypto has to catch up here, but gold is rotating, or I should say is correcting, and the rotational liquidity is starting to hit stocks and Bitcoin. And eventually, the altcoins will wake up. Now, the other factor I like to share with you guys is not only charts, but on-chain data. What the hell are the whales doing? Are they buying? Are they selling? Well, on-chain data from Sentiment shows wallets with 10 or more Bitcoin are continuing to accumulate. Now, recently, there was a little bit of plateauing, but not a dump, if you know what I mean. And let me share an example of that. Let me update my chart here so you know what the hell I'm talking about. I'll share an example of how they dumped in the past. Look at this in March of 2024, look at this dump. See what I mean? They dumped off the Bitcoin ETF launch. This was when Bitcoin hit a new all-time high before the halving. And it was a massive buy the rumor, sell the news event. Obviously historic because the ETFs, they're great. And BlackRock's ETF has been performing incredibly well, the fastest growing ETF in the history of ETFs. And they've been buying tons of Bitcoin. They now hold over 809,000 Bitcoin since that launch, guys. So this is what I'm looking for. When these whales are saying, hey, man, okay, this market is overheated. It looks like we're going to be in a bit of a corrective phase. Let's start exiting. Let's start dumping and taking profits. That is what we're waiting for here. But you can see we've been on the upside. The trend continues to go up. So one of the top signals we're going to look at is this. Are they dumping, right? In addition to other factors. So we want to look at the market holistically from a 360 standpoint. One of the things I've been critical of is some chart guys are only looking at charts. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can't just look at charts because the charts can fake you out. And you have to understand the macro things that the Fed does can influence the charts and reverse things, right? A prime example is COVID, when they printed the most money in the history of the United States and injected tons of liquidity and assets went crazy with the entire economy shut down, right? So you got to look at not only charts, they're important, but on-chain data and macro. So the on-chain data, again, showing us that whales are still accumulating. Now, I know some of you will say, well, Tony, what happened in March of 2025? Well, that was the tariff news, the tariff sell-off. So that's why a lot of whales started dumping there. But the majority of them still held, if you know what I mean. Let me zoom back out. The majority of them were still holding. We didn't dip down like we saw at the ETF launch. In addition, signals like the Bitcoin Pi cycle top indicator have not flashed, where the 111-day moving average and the 350-day moving average start to hit each other and kind of cross each other a bit. That has not happened. In fact, we're very far away from that. I mean, if you look at where it's at right now, right? So again, these things are all telling me the top is not in, despite there being a bearish scenario, despite there being certain bearish signals on the charts. But you got to align everything together, macro, on-chain, and charts. And we continue to see buying from big players, such as Strategy. They continue to accumulate, so they bought another 390 Bitcoin for approximately $43.4 million. In addition to Trump's family, American Bitcoin, which is a Bitcoin mining company, they bought 1,414 Bitcoin worth $163 million. So if the top is in, who the hell is going to be buying at the top, right? That is not a smart move. I mean, you would be dumb to do that. That's what dumb money does, right? They come in late in the market. They're not educated. They buy the top, herd mentality. Why would these institutions be buying at this point if the top is in? Just think about these things, right? It's very important to think about these things. And before I go further, guys, be sure to check out our sponsors, Uphold, which is a great crypto platform where you can buy, sell, and stake crypto assets. They have over 300 cryptocurrencies on their platform. They offer staking on 20 plus crypto assets. I've been a user since 2018. They have a great stablecoin yield program as well. So check them out. Also check out Trezor, which is the maker of beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to self-custody your assets. They just launched the Trezor Save 5 that is quantum resistant, water resistant, has top of the line security and usability. Beautiful device. I was actually at the Trezor event where they launched this. And Trezor, once again, they've been at this for a long time. They were the pioneers of the hardware wallets and the seed phrase setup. And their devices are beautiful and easy to use. And folks, you can use my code, Thinking Crypto, all one word, Thinking Crypto, to get 5% off. They support all the top coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, BNB, much more. Even new tokens they add support for. Also check out Propy, which is leading the charge with putting real estate on chain. I'm a Propy token holder. I'm bullish on this project. I have been since 2017. So this platform, hold on. Looks like I have some audio thing. Trezor site here I need to get rid of. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, Propy leading the charge of putting real estate on chain. You can buy and sell your house for crypto if you want. They use Coinbase for the crypto escrow service. Once again, I'm a token holder. They put deeds on chain. So if you'd like to learn more, check out propy.com. Also check out VeChain, one of the top layer 1 enterprise blockchains out there, working with the UFC and Dana White. Dana White recently bought $1 million of VET token. So they're working with many brands and companies around the world, like PwC, Walmart China, Givenchy, and much more. Even Boston Consulting Group. Also, a great way you can get tax benefits by investing in crypto is through iTrust Capital. You can invest via a self-directed IRA, and they also have a premium custody account where they use Coinbase Prime, Fidelity Digital Assets, Fireblock, so you get top of the level bank tiered institutional custody services. So this is one of the safest ways to safely custody your assets. Couldn't say that for a second. So check out iTrust Capital. If you use my link, you can get $100 funding bonus. All right, guys. So like I said, we are still in a bull market. All the signs are there. And, you know, one of the things I highlighted in my recent newsletter, and I have been talking about it on the podcast, you have a confluence of macro factors and catalysts that are on the horizon. So you got the Fed rate cuts. This week, we're going to hear from the Fed that they're going to cut again. The Fed futures watch is saying it's at 98%. Plus, Jerome Powell just the other week said we're ramping down quantitative tightening. So that means you're going to go back to money printing, guys. Plus, you got the Trump-China-US tariff resolution on the table. Trump is meeting with Xi this week. We got some very positive statements from Scott Bessent yesterday. So you have these factors that are going to be strong narratives to follow the price, right? Plus, you got U.S. government going to be reopening soon. We know they can't keep it closed forever, guys. We know this. We've seen this story before, right? And you know they're going to have to sign the check to fund the government. Markets love that. More liquidity. They know more printing means more assets going higher, right? You got the market structure bill, the Clarity Act on the deck, that this could be passed by December. If you caught my interview with Congressman Tom Emmer about, last month or so, he talked about it. He's like, realistically, this could get passed by the end of the year. And David Sachs, White House crypto czar, has also been seeing the same thing. Plus, you have the SEC approval of the altcoin ETFs around XRP, Solana, and much more. So these catalysts, I mean, the market topped and these things are still on the table, right? Something is not aligning here, guys, right? Reasonably. Now, we can't just base that our thesis based on this, but if we're looking at multiple factors, if we're saying, let's put all the puzzles pieces together, the major catalysts, the huge narratives, the on-chain data with whales, the stock market's hitting new all-time highs, global liquidity is still showing room to run. Bitcoin is, the bulls are capturing the momentum again on the daily, and it's on the rise. Gold has corrected, and you know, in addition, we haven't seen true euphoria yet. Which bull market ends with retail and fear? That has not happened before, guys. It ends with people feeling very, very euphoric and greedy. History is not on your side if you're saying the bull market top and people were fearful. History is not on your side. And then, you know, with that retail euphoria, we haven't seen the Coinbase app rankings in the top 10, right? We haven't seen Google Trends break the all-time highs of searches for Bitcoin and crypto like it has in the previous bull market cycles. So there's so many factors here just screaming, wait a minute, how the hell could that have been the top of the market? That does not make sense. Now, is there something a little bit different here? Yes. One of the things I've been saying is that the timeline has shifted. How many times have I said that this year since the tariff crash? I said this thing pushes the market in a different timeline, maybe by 2 to 3 months out. So this bull market could take us into 2026, into Q1. Why? The tariff crash, you know, deepened the normal crash, or I should say the normal correction that would come out of Q4 after a major rally, right? So that extended the correction and really changed the timeline. That's why you had Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high in August. Please tell me, when has Bitcoin done that before, right? Because it's usually sell and may go away. The summer months are boring, sideways chop, but we saw new all-time highs getting hit. So again, I present all these facts and these questions, and like, how could the top have been in? Based on a bunch of chart stuff, when I'm presenting this buffet of facts and data points, right? And I would love to have that conversation with some people. Like, wait a minute, okay, you're telling me the chart shows this, but how can you just be looking at charts? You got to look at the macro factors. You got to look at on-chain. Why the hell is the stock market hitting new highs? These things don't align, right? There's not confluence here as to what the hell some people are saying. All right, guys. We also have some very bullish news. You got Western Union is looking to pilot stablecoin powered transfers for its customers across 200 plus 200 plus countries. So we are seeing incredible adoption from Wall Street and TradFi institutions. Just the other day, we got the news of JP Morgan. They're going to use Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. And you got Zelle. They're going to use payments, stablecoins for payments as well. Look at this. IBM's digital asset haven aims to turn crypto into corporate infrastructure. So huge news happening. So technology giant IBM launched a cryptocurrency platform for U.S. institutions, making one of the company's strongest pushes yet into the digital assets and blockchain infrastructure. IBM's platform will offer U.S. businesses and governments crypto custody and payment services by the end of the year. Now, if you're IBM, why the hell would you launch this if the top of the market is in, right? You know what I mean? You would want to time it with where the market is. There's still room to run here to capture the PR and the hype and so forth. So again, guys, it's not jiving with the narrative of the top is in. You also got here Clearbank to become one of the first EU banks to join Circle Payments Network. So you got banks adopting crypto at a rapid pace here, folks. So Clearbank, a cloud-based clearing bank based in the UK, has formed a strategic partnership with Circle, the issuer of USDC, the second largest stablecoin by market capitalization. Clearbank signed a strategic framework agreement with a subsidiary of Circle Internet Group to cooperate on several stablecoin-related initiatives in the European market, the company announced on Monday. The collaboration aims to scale access to Circle's USDC and EURC stablecoins through Circle Mint, a service that allows authorized financial institutions and partners to create and redeem tokens directly on the blockchain. Huge adoption news happening, folks. Now, Binance has a big event coming up, Blockchain Week in Dubai, on December 3rd and 4th, and there's some big names going to be there. You got Michael Saylor, Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple, Raoul Pal, macro investor, and of course CZ. So very interesting. I wonder there's probably going to be some big announcements coming out of this, by the way, guys. So folks, I hope you understand what I've just shared with you as far as data and why I believe the bull market's still intact, because of the multiple factors we're seeing. Not because I'm biased, not because I want my bags to go up, but I'm about being realistic, right? I'm a realist. So if things are looking bad or they're looking bearish, I'm going to say, guys, this doesn't look good. I'm kind of concerned, but I'm not concerned at all based on the data, based on all the factors that I'm seeing here, right? That I've just shared with you guys. And it's just a matter of patience. I know the market is being stomach churning. I know there's been some big headwinds. The tariff situation was the big curveball this year, right? I think if it wasn't for the tariffs, we would be at a normal timeline and pace. But you all saw what happened in Q1 of this year. And then just recently, right? Bitcoin was hitting new all-time highs. It looked like it wanted to keep going. And then boom, China tariff situation, and then massive manipulation with the whale shorting with some insider information and much more. But like I said, the table is being set here for some big catalysts and narratives with the some of these things resolving and progressing that will, I think, add fuel to the bull market fire, if you know what I mean. Guys, hit the thumbs up button. if you appreciated this information. Hit the thumbs up button if you're bullish, the heart button, the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And let's look at some questions here. Let's see. Great to have you, Sesame XRP. Thanks, Sounds of Meditation. Appreciate it. Our own trauma says money printer going burr until 2026. Yeah, I think the signal's there, right? Jerome Powell literally said we're going to ramp down QT. So what comes after QT? Guys, we've watched the Fed raise rates, go into QT, raise rates from December 2021, right? And then markets dumped and we went into a bear market. Then they paused rate hikes. Then they started cutting, and along the way, the treasuries have been doing liquidity injections. Central banks around the world have been printing and doing their own liquidity injections, and we saw global liquidity kept rising. And the Fed here in the United States has not done full-on QE. Now, one could argue they've been doing pseudo QE because of those liquidity injections, but nevertheless, I think full-on QE is coming. So I agree that they're going to turn on the money printers. Jackie33 says BCB is 100% about the charts and halving cycle. This is different. I love him, but I think he's not looking at everything else in the world. Yeah, and that will be, look, I have nothing against BCB. I met him and I've watched his content, right? I've often said that I've learned from him, but I give an example. I'm not trying to bash him, but people can be wrong. Last year at the end of summer, he was calling for a 1929 crash. And I remember on Twitter, I was like, wait a minute, dude. You think the governments are going to let the markets dump into a 1929 crash when all the boomers' assets, right, their retirement is in real estate and stocks and much more? You think they're going to do that when they have their control of the money printer, right? So this is where the charts, you look in the charts, wait a minute, 1929 crash because it looks like a similar pattern? No, like markets don't move by themselves. They're influenced by governments and real world factors. So this is where, again, you got to look at the buffet of data and points and metrics and look at it holistically, right? Own Your Own Trauma says, just stack your bags until 2028 halving. If you're new to the crypto space, banana zone's coming. Yeah, absolutely. So I do, guys, there's going to be a point I'm going to be bearish, right? I'm going to say, guys, I'm seeing the signals flashing that things are about to wrap up for this market. Take your profits and let's ride off into the sunset. And then when we hit the bear market and it's bloody on the streets again and people are calling crypto a scam again, I'll be buying and then preparing for the next bull market starting 2028 into 2030. JT says XRP to $10. So if we agree with the thesis that this bull market is not over, right, based on the different data points and factors I just shared, I believe XRP has a strong possibility of getting between $8 to $10. Will it make its way all the way to 10? I don't know. That's TBD, but the potential is there, if you know what I mean. A realistic potential. Now, I'm not telling you $589, $1,000 like some people. That is not what I'm doing, right? But I'm saying as this bull market continues, and XRP's chart still looks very strong, guys. That's a strong chart. Despite everything that's happened, that's a strong chart. So I like what I'm seeing here. I will be starting to take profits at $5 and then ladder out as we go up, right? 6, 7, 8. And boy, I would love for us to hit 10, $11, but that's not guaranteed. But like I said, there's a strong potential for that to happen. Looking good, doing good. It says fundamentals cancel out charts. Powell can come out and say we're using XRP. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'll come out and say that, but the point is that he can come out and say, hey, we're starting quantitative easing, and then boom, all your models are changed, to your point, right? We saw this, guys. Look at what, again, I keep giving this example, COVID. They shut the governments down. The markets crashed, right? March 2020. And then look what the hell happened for the rest of the year into 2021. Again, businesses shut down. You couldn't go outside. You couldn't go hang out with people, right? It was madness. And people were not able to go eat out as much as restaurants and things like that. you guys know what happened, but they printed money and the markets went bananas. They did full on QE. They dropped rates. So this is where I'm going to look at these macro factors like the Fed, the people who control the money and liquidity, and other central banks first versus charts, right? Don't get me wrong. The charts are super important. It's super important. That's what, look at what I'm showing you here, right? It's our map. It's our guide, but we can't just ignore everything else. It would be kind of crazy to do that. Zach Rector forecasts a double-digit XRP moving into 2026. That's certainly possible. You know, a double digit could be 10, $11 and so forth. Josh says, just like with gold a week or two ago. I'm not sure what you mean, Josh, but you know, one of the things I was saying, if you recall, if you caught my podcast episodes, I said what gold was doing was a parabolic move, and we saw people lining up around the world to buy gold. And I said, that's a sign of a top, right? That is a sign of a top. And I highlighted that gold was overbought. Its RSI was greatly extended. So here you can see bulls are in control. The RSI is heading to the oversold zone. And one of the things, the thesis I've been sharing with you guys, we are in a macro bull market for all assets, all following global liquidity, but they rotate, right? You have the rotational liquidity. So there you go. All the small things says, have you heard of VeVe NFTs before? They are fully licensed. I have not. I honestly have not, so I can't share an opinion. I have no idea, and I don't really follow the NFT space. I don't own any NFTs, so maybe in the future I will. You know, personally, I'm bullish on NFTs as utility. So being able to have an NFT from a movie, a show, a concert, and other things. But I personally don't own any artwork, but nothing wrong with that. So I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. Some people have made some nice money off of that. Abdul says, Tony, what's your analysis on AVAX? It is currently at $20 and its all-time high is 146. What's your take on that? So I do hold AVAX in my portfolio. I am bullish on AVAX, although its chart has not looked very great lately. But again, I want to caveat that by saying we still got more to go in this bull market. So I think there's more upside. There's things that can be fixed and resolved, if you know what I mean. Again, I hold this token. So let's zoom out a bit here. I need to pull this down a bit. Okay. So AVAX, some positive signs that we saw is it rallied in Q4 with the rest of the market. That's very good. It's off the bear market bottom, right? That's what you want to see. It has to be off the bear market bottom. Now, I would love to see more strength though. You know, kind of when you look at the XRP, the HBAR chart, the Solana chart, they're higher up on their fib levels, right? But it's really not far from its all-time high. So it won't take too much liquidity for it to rally and then break that all-time high. I do believe AVAX as a top 10, top 15 asset can do that. There are ETFs on deck. There's lots of adoption happening with AVAX or Avalanche. So I think it can rally, but right now not showing too much strength, if you know what I mean. You can see that in the rally in early Q4 and then late Q4 and oh my gosh, I'm getting my numbers mixed up here. In early 2024 and in late 2024, there were rallies, but it didn't go very high from a fib level standpoint. So we want to see more strength here. But the good thing is it's off its bear market bottom, right? That's what you want to see. If it gave back everything and it's down here, I'm going to be like, man, that's a lot of weakness, but it's showing some strength, but I would like to see more, but we still got ways to go. You know, I think when the liquidity hits the altcoins and, you know, like ETH breaks out, it's going parabolic, liquidity starts circulating through the altcoins, you know, this thing could easily pop off, guys. So patience is the key here. Benny says bullish on the macro. Looking good, doing good, doing it. It says Q2 2026. I'm assuming you're thinking that the top comes in around there. Anthony, great to have you. Amir says, hi, Tony. Have you heard about Zebec Network? Their token ZBCN looks good. So I've heard of it, but I don't own it and I don't know too much about it. One of the things I think we had covered was that it's a new token and it's been performing pretty well, I think. Let's see here. I don't think there's too much chart data because it's new, but if we look at it here, I think it's been performing pretty well. So this is the thing, guys. You can, grab some of these new tokens and it could do really well. Now, I wouldn't recommend you go put a ton of your portfolio into this because there's a risk, right? Some of these projects could fail or not do well. But Zebec has been performing well relative to its launch. It launched in April of 2024, and then has rallied since May of this year and seems to be holding up pretty well. So it seems like something that could continue to do well. Josh says HBAR needs to get back above $2 soon, but hopefully we will be seeing, 20 cents. But hopefully still seeing $1 plus during the blow off top period. Yeah, for sure. So I'm an HBAR token holder. I'm hoping for a $1 plus HBAR, but HBAR's chart still looking strong, guys. Again, relative to the big dump that we saw, right? And it's not far from the all-time high. So I think it could certainly blast through the that all-time high easily. And as Josh is saying, we want to see $1 plus. I think that's possible. It is a top 15 asset, if I'm not mistaken, and there's an ETF on deck. There's some big narratives around it. So yeah. Oh, well, now it's a top 20, not top 15, but there's a lot of ebbs and flows, and different coins have their day in the sun and they capture different, positions. What's interesting, Hyperliquid, I don't own that, but that is now nearing the top 10. Very interesting. Okay, let's see here. Demo says XRP going to $25 to $30 a cycle. I don't think so, Demo. Look, I hope that happens because I would love that, guys. That would make me a lot of money. Trust me when I tell you that would make me a lot of money. But we can't just throw out price numbers like that without having some sort of data to back it, right? So what I'm sharing with you guys when I say $8 to $10, I'm using a Fibonacci model on here. There's also Elliott wave models that show, the 8 to 10 range. But I hope you're right? But it's all about probabilities. Anything is possible. The question is, how probable is it, right? Is there a 1% chance that it happens? Less than 1%? Or is there a 50%? Is there a 60% chance? So, what percentage would I give $8 for XRP? I give that like a 80%, guys. I think we're not far from that. We're at 265 to get to $8 in a parabolic move with how much strength we have here, with how many ETFs that have been filed for XRP and the huge narratives and much more. Well, like I said, but we're talking probabilities, right? I can't guarantee that. Demo says BCB is wrong on the bear market. Yeah, I don't agree with blockchain backer on that. Eric Serrano, great to have you. Let's see. Josh says, do you see Propy doing well this cycle, or is this project more of a profit for 2029 to 2030 period? Let's look at the chart, actually. And I am a Propy token holder. I have been for a long time. So I am in profit because I've been holding the token for a long time. Let's see what's the best token, best chart to look at here. Let me see. I'm gonna try to get one that's maybe from a while back. Binance, no. Nope. Because I know Coinbase, they listed it not too long ago, but let's see. Could probably use this. Okay, so the good thing with Propy, we saw a major rally in April of 2024. I didn't like what happened in Q4. You can see here it didn't rally as much with the rest of the market, but it could be because it rallied so strongly at the beginning of the year that there wasn't enough momentum, liquidity, sentiment change, and much more. So the good thing, it's off the bear market floor, right? That's the important thing. But we need more strength here. I do think it could break the all-time high and go to $5 plus, but we'll have to wait and see. if not, it is certainly one of those long-term projects because, again, they're putting real estate on chain, guys. We know the world's largest asset class is going on chain, and Propy is using blockchain to help you to buy and sell properties with crypto. Tim Draper, billionaire investor, is still bullish and still an investor in this company. So this is certainly one to watch. So guys, check out Propy, one of our sponsors. Also check out Uphold, a great place to buy, sell, stake crypto. Check out Trezor, great hardware wallets. They were the creators, the pioneers of this, of hardware wallets and the seed phrase setup. Use my code ThinkingCrypto to get 5% off. Check out VeChain, great enterprise layer 1 blockchain. I'm a VET token holder, have been for many years. So check them out. Also check out iTrust Capital, invest in crypto and get tax benefits, and one of the safest ways to custody your assets. They have a premium custody account that uses institutional grade custody, such as Coinbase Prime, which BlackRock uses, Fireblocks, Fidelity, and much more. So check out those sponsors. Guys, check out my newsletter, 100% free, 100% free. I put out a newsletter every week, packed with tons of data, charts, and information. You can learn a lot. You can take your time and go through it, right? So you can educate yourself more. And I give you updates on the latest news and so forth. And no spam. I'm not putting out something every day. Check out my book on Amazon and my course at mycryptocourse.com. Okay, let's continue with some questions here. Internal Art says, do you think the app rankings and Google Trends are still as valid as previous runs? Maybe people have accounts already. Is possible we don't get a violent top because 100K psychological boundaries. Let's see. Okay, so let's start with the Google Trends. So to your point, let's see. I still think they're valid. I think they're good indicators because let me pull up Google Trends here and even the app. Let's see. I have this bookmark. Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's look at the app rankings, and this data is from the block, by the way. All right, and let's specifically hone in on Coinbase. So you can see in Q4, look at what happened with the Coinbase app. See, and then even in July, when we had the rally, Bitcoin going to new highs, look at the pop off. So it hasn't been invalidated. As long as we are seeing spikes like this, it hasn't been invalidated. Same thing with Google Trends, I would say. But remember, Internal Arts, we're not only using these factors. They're just one in the puzzle piece, right? So this is where you can, to your point, if something is invalidated here, does it align with the other factors or is it different, right? So these are the things we want to watch. Okay, not the past day. Let's do the past 12 months. Actually, let's do past 5 years. I think that'll be more helpful. So Q4 rally, right, guys? 2024, we saw a spike, just like we have in previous years. And as long as we keep seeing these spikes, and the thesis is we haven't seen the euphoric blow off top phase like we have at, for example, November in 2021, 2020, and so forth, then I think we still have to use it as an indicator. In addition, in conjunction with other factors like global liquidity, like the Pi cycle top indicator, right? Oh, let me see. Do I have global liquidity on another chart? Nope. Okay. Like global liquidity, like on-chain data with whale accumulation or are they dumping? Like the Pi cycle top indicator. Let me refresh this. Like what's happening in the stock market, right? Which is hitting new highs. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Russell, right? Like Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has not collapsed like we've seen it in the past. So what happened, right? Now, if you're just using Bitcoin dominance as your main or only source, right, it can fail. But if you're using it in conjunction with all these other things I'm sharing, the reality of the situation is This is not a bear market. So we haven't seen that massive collapse like we've seen in the history of Bitcoin dominance, guys. Right? We've seen mini pullback drops, which makes sense, and they correlate with the rallies we've seen, but we have not seen that waterfall dump, right? In addition to USDT dominance. This is something I've been sharing with you guys. I'm still waiting for the floor to drop out here for USDT dominance to break 3.7%. And once we start seeing this thing drop, guys, that's where the liquidity is starting to hit Bitcoin and the altcoins. We haven't seen it yet. So all of these things are just telling me, wait a minute, bear market's not over, man. I mean, the bull market's not over, excuse me. Plus the macro catalysts and narratives that are sitting on the table. Fed rate cuts, QT ending, tariff situation resolving, government reopening, Clarity Act in the Senate, SEC approval of ETFs, right? So what do you think of the OP return wars? Could be shaking long-term holders' confidence in project, hence why we haven't seen it being. What do you mean by OP return wars? If you can give more details there. Yeah, Josh, exactly, right? Some people were criticizing me when I was saying, look, the people lining up to buy gold, that's dumb money. I'm sorry, right? I know it's a harsh term. I didn't make it up. This existed before crypto. This is the stock market terminology. People were lining up to buy gold here. And I was like, guys, this is a parabolic move. Look at that. The top is near. It was overbought. The RSI is showing you that, right? And some people are getting mad. You're crazy. But it's going to keep going higher. And it's like, no, wait a minute. The people lining up, retail doing it, that's dumb money. We see the digital version of that online, right? And then mainstream coverage and so forth for crypto and stocks. So again, it's always there. We haven't seen that for crypto as yet. So there's more to go. But you see how these signs come in, right? Where you have euphoria for gold and much more. Mighty Miwok, I don't know much about the Vine coin. Honestly, I have not gotten a chance to take a look. CRO, so that is an exchange token. That's the Chronos token. Okay, let's take a look at this. Now, crypto.com is doing something with Trump that could help, right? Huge narrative. But right now, the token is showing a lot of weakness. A lot. I mean, just look at where it's at. It's not far from the bear market bottom, guys. So I'm not saying it can't rally and go to new highs, but clearly we need more strength here. But like I said, the partnership with Trump media and all that stuff, that could really help. So we'll see. I don't personally hold the token. Demo says UK based. How long do we think until US government opens up the XRP ETFs? So I think first the US government has to open up because the SEC can't do anything until the US government opens up. But I think that happens, guys, possibly November or December for the approval of those ETFs. I think the SEC is ready. Based on my conversations with Commissioner Hester Peirce. By the way, I couldn't publish that interview because the government shut down. They wanted to review the interview, and because the government shut down, they couldn't work and do it. So really sucks. But as soon as the government opens up, they promised me they're going to take a look and give me the green light. So hang in there, guys. It really sucks. I wanted to publish that interview, but what are you going to do? Hashim says, does VET potentially have the ability to go to its previous all-time highs? So let's look. So I'm a VET token holder, and so I'm hoping it can go to previous all-time highs, right? Oh man. So the chart's not looking too great though. But again, we still got ways to go here for altcoins. So it could rally. Potentially it can go to new all-time highs. I think it can. But can it? How high will it get? I don't know. That's the tricky part because it's not showing a ton of strength here. Let's say it rallies and it just breaks the all-time high, 50 something cents, maybe goes to 60 cents. versus higher. We'll have to wait and see, guys. This is a hard one. Could alt season be underwhelming unlike 2017 due to dilution as there are so many projects these days? I don't think every altcoin will pop off like 2017 to your point, because there's so many altcoins, but I think the ones that have ETFs, strong narratives around them, I think, the top 20 or so will do well, plus some new tokens, which, it's easy to move those tokens because they don't need as much liquidity. So to your point, will every altcoin see massive runs and, things like that? No, I don't think so. So this is where, we can see total 3 rally, certainly, with the altcoin market cap, but there will be your clear winners and the ones that make incredible gains and some that just move just a little bit. Eric Serrano says Chainlink. Yeah, I'm bullish on Chainlink. Chainlink is now in the top 15. And by the way, I'll be attending Chainlink SmartCon conference in early November, actually next week. And I'll be doing interviews there. Okay, let's see here. So I'm hoping for $100 plus Chainlink, guys. Its chart does look good, though. It does look pretty decent here. It's not far from the all-time high. And so it won't need much liquidity to break the all-time highs in enterprise discovery. And man, I would love for us to get, like I said, over $100. That would be pretty amazing. I'm not sure what you're saying, Johnny Be Good. The same gallon milk under WIC had a higher price. Oh man, that is definitely a nightmare ranter. How you doing, XRP Plumbing? Great to have you. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. Lawrence Bronson, great to have you, man. All right, let's see here. Kev says SuiDex launches tomorrow for those that like Sui. Great opportunity for those that like DeFi farming. Victory will be the DEX reward token. Trading live tomorrow. Yeah, guys. So I am a holder of Sui. I am bullish on Sui. I think there's a big narrative around it. Earlier today, by the way, I published my interview with Sui Foundation's, let me pull up his title here, the managing director, Christian Thompson. So check that out, guys. You want to learn about Sui and all the cool things they're doing. So that was published earlier today. Chris, so I gave that earlier. I talked a bit about XRP hitting $8 to $10. You can watch that segment. XRP ETF approval, banking license, Clarity Act. What other updates we need to watch for? Well, like I said, with regards to the macro, government reopening, tariff situation resolving, Fed QE, continued rate cuts. You mentioned the Clarity Act and obviously the ETFs getting approved. So obviously we're going to continue to monitor global liquidity to see if that continues to break out upwards, because these asset classes are following that. We're going to continue to watch the stock market, because usually when the stock market is doing well, also crypto is also doing well. So I think we see the clear rotation. Gold topped out, and all of a sudden the S&P and Bitcoin wake up. So there you go, guys. It's the thesis we've been talking about. Zab says, what about the Stellar token? Yeah, so I have some of the XLM token in my portfolio. I actually interviewed Danelle Dixon, CEO of the Stellar Foundation. That interview should be published this week. They've got some cool things going on. So let's look at Stellar. So Stellar, it's funny. I guess the market makers do this. It has, or in the past, follow XRP's movement. Not exactly, but it's very, very much like XRP. So if you look at the Stellar chart, it looks very much like XRP. So Stellar is positioned really well here, guys. Its chart looks strong. And you can see it's not far from the all-time high. So you can blast through that very easily. It's not going to take a ton of liquidity to do that. So, could we see over $1 for Stellar or XLM? I think it's possible. I think there's a high probability of that. So let's see how it plays out, guys. And I would love a $2 XLM. That'd be pretty cool. Maximum FOMO says, hey, Tony, there's an AI token named after you, Tony. Try to have the founder. And it's an what? Agent Launchpad. Interesting. Not really. None. For example, let's look at VeChain. Doesn't look anything like XRP or Stellar. HBAR looks good, but not every chart looks the same. Look at Ethereum. Now you may say the top 10 to 15 coins maybe have some similarities, but not all altcoins. You know what I mean? So guys, we are waiting for ETH to blast through to new highs, enterprise discovery, and that will be very good for the total altcoin market cap. So gotta be patient here, guys, and gotta check your emotions at the door, right? It's so important. Chris says, hey, Tony, what's your thoughts on after the bull market is over to invest in real estate as rate cuts are coming? So Chris, obviously not financial advice, but that is something I will be exploring to see if I want to put some capital into another real estate property. I have one right now down in Florida. So I'm going to look into that. First order of business is eliminate some debt, maybe do some upgrades here on my house, help out some family, put some towards retirement. And then I do want to buy the blood on the streets for crypto again, as the market corrects. But to your point, I may look at potentially into other assets. Now, real estate comes with a lot more maintenance and a lot more work. So I'm going to have to see what I want to do there. And if it makes sense, but that is certainly, I would say, a prudent thing to do, to look at diversifying your assets exposure. And, it all depends on your lifestyle. If you're comfortable with doing real estate management, and sure, you can get a property management company, but it comes with a lot more work. You know what I mean? So that's something I'll be thinking about. Damascus says, hopefully ETFs get approved fast once government opens. Yeah, for sure. I think it will. Honestly, I think the SEC is ready. They've already given, before the government shut down, they gave the green light to Grayscale for the staking in their ETFs, and even their top 5, which includes Solana and XRP. So if they already approved an ETF with XRP and Solana for Grayscale, they're going to approve the spot ETFs, right? It's done, man. It's just this blasted government shutdown, which is annoying. But like I said, it's all setting the table here as a huge catalyst, huge narrative. Guys, hit the thumbs up button, hit the heart button, hit the like button for the bull market to continue. And we make some amazing gains. Like I said, check out my sponsors, Uphold, Trezor, Propy, VeChain, I Trust Capital, guys. All the links will be in the description. Check out my newsletter. It's 100% free. Sign up, guys. Check out my book on Amazon and my course at mycryptocourse.com. Folks, I'm going to wrap up soon. We're approaching an hour, or we're at the hour actually. And let's see here. Japan just had their stablecoin. Yeah, I think they're building on what blockchain is it? Is it Avalanche? I think they're building. Not everything's going to be on Ripple or XRP Ledger, guys. So be careful with some influencers. They like to tell you everything will be on the XRP Ledger, all the money and all kinds of bullshit, right? And I hate that because they're just lying to people. And versus being realistic, it's important to be realistic, because you just listen to fairy tales and it's like, bro, come on, man, you're gonna get people wrecked. Not that I'm saying that XRP is not gonna go up. XRP is gonna go up. I'm bullish on it. It's one of my top holdings, but let's be realistic about what adoption is happening, liquidity, all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely, Kev. Thank you for joining. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and wishing you all the best of luck in this bull market, that you make incredible returns. And I'll catch you in the next live stream. See you guys.